Hey guys, Millrod coming to you again with another one of my reviews. You know, I've been really enjoying doing these in the car. I kind of feel like when you're driving, you think about things and those thoughts are more real. And so I kind of like doing these in the car. So if you don't like it, let me know, but I'm kind of liking this format for me. And it helps fit into my day so I can talk to you guys about these films. Today, I went to the theater and saw a very interesting film, Motor City, with Alan Rickman, I think is his name. I never know how to pronounce it, but he's famous for Reacher and some other works as well. I was talking to my buddy about this film last night, and I was talking to him about potentially seeing it, and he said, "Isn't that the one that doesn't have any dialogue?" And I said, "What do you mean?" Because I hadn't done any research on this film at all. And so I didn't know what like little dialogue or no dialogue meant. But let me tell you, this movie has no dialogue, like zero dialogue. The movie is essentially a bunch of set pieces and acting with music in the background the entire time that sets the mood for the movie. I saw one reviewer on Rotten Tomatoes call it like an extended music video, and it kind of is. That's kind of the vibe here. Alan Rickman lives in Detroit in 1977 and has been involved with crime in the past, but is just getting off parole and has his life together and has his girlfriend that he's going to propose to, and then everything goes bad, and you see his story of trying to, get back at the individuals who ruined his life, quote unquote. Yeah, I don't know how to think about this movie, to be honest with you guys. First thing that I'll say is I respect the heck out of the people that made this movie. Movies are visuals, but they're also dialogue, and they're human interactions, and human interactions by definition have dialogue, right? And so, I guess I appreciate the attempt, and I appreciate the art, and I think people should see it to kind of feel what that feels like to sit through an hour and 45-minute movie with no talking. I shouldn't say no talking. Very, very, very few lines. And lines placed in spots where they were most impactful, I will say. But when I say lines, I mean like a couple words across this entire film. You won't hear dialogue. Okay, so I'm impressed with what they've done. I'm impressed with the art of it. It's an interesting experience, okay? It's an interesting experience. Would I pay, if I didn't have Regal Unlimited, which is what I have and I use to go see all these movies, if I did not have Regal Unlimited, would I pay $15 plus popcorn and everything to go see this movie? Honestly, I wouldn't. It's fine, but I think because there's no dialogue, it does remind you after a while that movies kind of need dialogue. I enjoy hearing conversations between people in movies. That's what gives it a lot of the charm, right? And so I missed it. I at first I thought it was really cool, and then as I went, I missed it. I missed hearing between the characters. There were moments in this film when I really wanted to hear between characters. I also think because there was no dialogue, they had to overemphasize certain things, and so some of the set pieces had to be done in very drawn out ways to be able to make sure that the audience knew what was happening in the film, and that made it drag at points. I was sitting in the back of the theater, and there was only 2 people in the theater, so I wasn't bothering anybody by doing this, but I caught myself checking my phone more during this film than I have in a lot of other films, and I was getting a little sleepy at points in the middle, again, because it's just this music to the background of no dialogue. So you really have to kind of keep yourself locked in. Let's talk about the acting a little bit. I think Alan Rickman does a really good job for not having any dialogue in the film. You can really tell his emotions. He does a really good job of portraying this anger and rage and vengefulness that he has towards these people who essentially took his love away from him. Sorry about that, folks. phone got a little overheated, so I had to restart. But anyway, I was talking about Alan Rickman and his ability to portray the emotions of a vengeful person, even without dialogue. So I think even if this movie isn't my favorite movie, and I wouldn't go pay all that money to go see it, I do think this movie gives Alan Rickman an amazing portfolio because it really does show his acting ability. He does a really good job portraying those emotions throughout the film. And he's just huge in this movie. I mean, he just looks awesome. And so, I really hope that this leads to him getting more roles in the future. I know me and my buddies have talked about some different roles that we'd like to see him in. For us, I think it's Bond is the one that we'd like to see him at least have an opportunity to audition for. But anyway, his acting was really good. But again, when it comes to this movie, you have to ask yourself, do you want to sit through a essentially 2-hour movie where there is zero dialogue in the entire film? Unfortunately for me, I think dialogue is important enough where I probably wouldn't see this film again in theaters. And it will probably come to some sort of streaming, I would imagine, at some point for you to see it. If you want to experience what it's like and the art of watching a movie with no sound, it was interesting, and I think it makes me a better movie reviewer by watching this movie to see how important dialogue really is. But to this film's credit, and I know I've been jumping around with it, to this film's credit, I understood the story the entire time. They did a very good job of keeping the audience informed of what was happening, and I knew exactly where it was moving. Was it predictable? Yeah, it was pretty predictable. I mean, I pretty much knew what was going to happen, and it's hard to make a story that is terribly complex when you have zero dialogue to work with to help the audience get to a complicated story or get through a complex story. But again, kudos to the people who made it, because it's a risk and it's a unique movie that if you can get it on DVD or Blu-ray for cheap, or you can get it on streaming for cheap, I would highly encourage you to watch it just to see what it's like to watch a 2-hour movie that doesn't have any dialogue. But kudos to Alan Rickman, kudos to the creativity. But again, is the movie worth $15 plus popcorn and drinks? Probably not. At least in my opinion. I'd much rather see a lot of other movies that are out right now than this one. Okay, so scoring. Let's get to the scoring of the movie. Again, 5, really, really good. We want to see it again immediately. 0 being, what even is this? Unfortunately for me, I want to give it more points because it took a risk. I'm between a 2 and a 3. I'm between a 2, it's just not my cup of tea, and a 3, which is like an okay, it's fine. I will elevate this one to a 3, it's fine, because of the risk it takes and the interesting feeling of watching a movie without dialogue. But it's a low 3, and it's a 3 that I would probably see when it comes out on streaming. But if you're an Alan Rickman fan, you will very much like his acting here, as I think this is a good portfolio piece for him to say, look, I can make this part work with or without dialogue. And I think that's a really, really cool performance from him. All right, guys, it's been another one of my reviews, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I will talk to you soon. Enjoy Spider-Man this weekend if you're going to go see it. My review for Spider-Man will probably come out, well, it depends on when I see it. If I see it on Thursday, it'll come out that day, or Friday, but we'll see. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a good one.